The Power of Discipline. Stoic Lessons for Modern Warriors. Let's be honest. Most people today are soft. Not weak in body, but in spirit. We chase pleasure like it's oxygen, avoid discomfort like it's poison, and mistake convenience for happiness. But deep down, you know something's missing. You can feel it. That quiet, gnawing dissatisfaction that whispers, "You're capable of more." You scroll through endless distractions, promise yourself you'll start tomorrow, and convince yourself you're just tired. But the truth? You're not tired. You're undisciplined. And that's what this world fears most, a disciplined human being. Because discipline is freedom's most misunderstood form. It's the strength to master yourself before the world masters you. It's what turns ordinary people into warriors, not with swords or armor, but with control over their own mind. Part I. The Modern Struggle. We live in an age where the enemy no longer storms our gapes. It lives inside our heads, disguised as comfort, convenience, and self-pity. You wake up, reach for your phone, and before the day even begins, you've surrendered your attention. Every ping, every notification, every urge pulls you like a puppet. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Yet here we are, helpless, scrolling, consuming, procrastinating. You tell yourself you'll do it later, that you'll change when life slows down. But life never slows down. It only accelerates while you stand still. Discipline is not about waking up at 5 a.m. or building perfect routines. It's about reclaiming your agency from the chaos of impulse. Without discipline, you are a slave, chained not by others, but by yourself. Part 2. The Ancient Lesson. The Stoics knew something we've forgotten. Comfort is not your friend. It's your silent executioner. Epictetus was born a slave. He had nothing. Yet he said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Think about that. He had his body owned by another man, but his mind, his will, belonged only to himself. That's the essence of true power. Meanwhile, we, born free, willingly enslave ourselves to cravings, to screens, to fleeting moods. We're terrified of discomfort, yet it's the very thing that forges us. Nietzsche called it amor fati, the love of one's fate, the ability to embrace hardship not as punishment, but as the path to strength. You see, the disciplined person doesn't avoid pain. They choose it, because they understand that pain refines. Like a blacksmith hammering iron, discipline shapes you into something unbreakable. Part 3. The Warrior Within. Every generation needs warriors, not soldiers of blood and battle, but of spirit and principle. And today, the battlefield is within. Your fight is not against armies, it's against your own mind, your urges, your laziness, your fear of failure. The modern warrior trains in silence. They wake up before dawn not for praise, but for purpose. They resist temptation not because they don't feel it, but because they've learned not to be ruled by it. Machiavelli once wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." But the Stoic warrior understands, it's better to be feared by your weaknesses and loved by your virtues. Because when you conquer yourself, the world has nothing left to use against you. Part 5. The Lie of Motivation. Motivation is fleeting. It's a spark that burns out the moment things get hard. Discipline, however, is the flame that never dies. We idolize motivation because it feels good. It's emotional, exciting, cinematic. But real progress happens when the music stops, when no one's watching, when it's just you and the choice to keep going. That's where strength is built. In silence, in repetition, in resistance. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Every time you choose comfort over growth, you're not resting. You're surrendering precious life you'll never get back. The world teaches you to chase happiness, but discipline teaches you to build it through consistency, mastery, and sacrifice. Part 6. The Shadow of Indulgence. Modern society glorifies indulgence. Treat yourself. You deserve it. You've earned a break. But the truth, you don't need another treat. You need a challenge. The Roman philosopher Musonius Rufus said, "If you accomplish something good with hard work, the labor passes quickly, but the good endures." Discipline is delayed gratification embodied. It's knowing that what feels good now often leads to regret, and what feels hard now often leads to freedom. When you skip the workout, procrastinate on the project, or waste hours online, it's not just lost time, it's lost self-respect. Each undisciplined act chips away at your confidence until you no longer trust yourself. And that's the real tragedy. Not failure, but self-betrayal. Part 7. The Transformation. Discipline doesn't happen overnight. It's not an event, it's a reawakening. You begin by doing one thing, just one thing, that you don't feel like doing. You show up when it's uncomfortable, you finish when it's inconvenient, and slowly you build a different kind of strength. The quiet kind, the kind that doesn't need to be seen to be real. Plato believed that the highest victory is over oneself. And that's exactly what discipline offers. Not applause, not validation, but inner peace. Because when you can command your own actions, emotions, and desires, you are unstoppable. You no longer react, you respond. You no longer drift, you decide. You no longer hope, you act. That's what separates those who merely exist from those who live deliberately. Part 8. The Uncomfortable Truth. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Your lack of discipline is costing you your potential. Every time you avoid discomfort, you reinforce weakness. Every time you give in to excuses, you trade long-term peace for short-term relief. And one day you'll look back and realize you weren't waiting for the right moment. You were just afraid of the wrong one. The Stoics didn't see discipline as punishment. They saw it as liberation, the ability to rise above emotion, impulse, and distraction. Discipline is not about restriction. It's about alignment. It aligns your actions with your values, your words with your purpose, your life with your potential. Without it, you drift. With it, you become dangerous, because you no longer need the world's permission to act. Part 9. The Modern Warrior's Creed. So what does it mean to be a modern warrior? It means waking up and fighting the war within, every single day. It means facing fear with reason, distraction with focus, and desire with restraint. It means living with intention when the world encourages chaos. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to begin. Remember, the body obeys the mind, and the mind obeys what you train it to believe. Train it to endure. Train it to choose what is right over what is easy. Train it to serve your higher self, not your fleeting impulses. Because the strongest person isn't the one who conquers others, it's the one who conquers themselves.